Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's having a great day. Let me just bring the music out here. Awesome. I hope everyone's doing well. Yes, I was like, where am I going with this? So exciting things happening on the theater front. The Tony nominees were just announced a day or two ago. Lots of really exciting nominations, and I'm curious to hear what you all think about it. So comment, let me know, shoot me a DM on Instagram, anything. I don't care. And a big congratulations to one of my mentors from grad school, James Imes, who just won the Pulitzer Prize in Drama for his play Fat Ham. It had an amazing run at the Wilma in Philly, and it's going to be opening at the public in June. So go see it. It truly is fantastic. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy that. Welcome to episode 30 of Overtures, and I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up now, and we will get you on screen right now. Helps if just a little taste for you of my guest today. My guest today is from West Nyack, New York. I hope I pronounced that correctly, and I'm sure she will let me know. And has been performing since she was a tot. She studied theater at Wagner College, and since graduating has worked at Sundog and WPPAC. Currently, she's taking a break from theater to write music and is having a blast in a band with her sister and pals called the Mudlarks, as we just saw a little snippet of. Her music account on Instagram is Sunshine Sessions, and that is for a good reason. She's an absolute ray of sunshine, a kind, creative soul, and I'm so glad that I've been able to spend time with her over the years, and I can easily speak just as high of her talent. So without further ado, this is Sammy Quinn.
You're so good at this. Dear God.
I'm on episode 30. I sure hope I'm getting better at this.
No, it's so good. I'm like, one, you have such a beautiful speaking voice. Two, like you're so eloquent, which is more than I could say from my. I can't
I have
speak.
a whole Google Doc off on the side. Don't worry.
I can't speak. I don't know what I've done wrong in life, but I can't speak.
Well,
and yes,
welcome.
you did. West Nyack, you got it.
Amazing.
People usually go Nyack, and I go, you can call Nyack Yaktown, but Yaktown,
it's an option. It's an option.
It really is an option. I'm like, I look crazy. Boo needs to like chill.
Yeah. Tell us who's your little pet you got with you today.
This is Boo.
Hi, Boo.
He's been emerged.
He's like, don't look at me like that.
He's like, I'm not here. Pay no attention to me on your lap. But this is the only way that he won't like scream.
I like the idea that your dog screams, not like doesn't bark or anything, but just like screams.
Screams. He's like, as if on cue.
Yeah, immediately perks up.
It's an acting training. He's getting there.
Hey, there you go. He'll be the next Toto.
Imagine he'd be gone. He'd be like long gone, like running away.
He'd immediately run off stage. I was just saying before this, it's almost been a whole year since I've been back into the city, and I'll never forget running into you on the way to the park the weekend we just happened to be like looking at apartments, and we were like, Sammy Quinn, and you were like, what? And then also you coming to help us move in and pulling practically an entire mattress of 4 flights of stairs.
Yeah. because that is what you do. When
That's just
somebody
what you
has to
do.
move, you get it done. Like, come hell or high water, we were getting it up the
I
stairs.
know, but it was just amazing watching you strong arm an entire queen mattress up 4 flights of stairs. I mean, like, yeah, there's a few people running behind trying to keep up, but, like,
We
you
get it.
really
We
just,
gotta
like,
go.
yanked it
Keep
up.
the momentum. You can't stop. Because
No,
once you
truly
stop
though.
and take the break, you're not going back up those stairs. Like, it's over.
Yeah, it's hard, but we got so much done
I
thanks to
can't
you
wait
that
to
day,
see it.
so
I can't wait to see the apartment. I haven't seen it
yes.
in a moment.
I know, and hopefully we'll like you were saying, you'll be here in June, so we'll get you
Trying.
over here and
I
we'll figure it out.
fading into Rockland County.
I mean, hey, it happens. It happens. Even just for a little bit. It's okay. You'll be back. It's great. But for context, I mean, we already sort of mentioned this a little bit, but we know each other from Wagner.
Yeah.
You're one of the first people I met in the theater department, like through like freshman orientation.
I
And I
right on freshman orientation. I was like so stressed. And everyone's like,
really,
you were psychotic. And I go, yeah, I was all my nervous energy. Like I couldn't
you're just
contain
bouncing off the
myself. I was
walls.
like, and I was like, I remember just like word vomiting everywhere, like all day long. And like really like, Michael's like, I didn't want to be your friend. You were so like, and I was like,
You're like, I'm
rough.
sorry, rough,
And then I
but
was
too
like,
bad. Now we're
so
here now. So
you know, we're here. We talked about it.
And then also I was always hanging out on your floor in Harborview, the freshman dorm. So like
No.
inevitably we spent a lot of time together.
Hell
Lots
yeah.
of dance classes together. So many dance
Oh my God.
classes. Definitely that like breakfast lunch club in the
We had
dining
to
hall.
do the breakfast club. We needed a club for that, some motivation, something to get me up in the morning to get to jazz.
Because here's the thing, if I didn't have breakfast before dance classes, I was gonna pass out, you
No,
know?
I
Like
wouldn't make it. But it's like
I
a
wouldn't have made
horrible
it.
line of like, do you eat and then vomit, or do you like not eat and pass out? It's like,
Yeah, it's like, try to find that
what
balance there,
can you
but
eat in the morning without being like, I'm gonna die?
yeah. But it was always nice knowing I'm like, "Okay, well, at least I know, like, Sammy and Michael will be there."
Oh yeah, no, we will always be there. We are the constants. When I missed breakfast once, he was upset. It was
Furious.
there was an upset. I was like, okay, I won't miss again, I swear.
I will miss again. Our good friend Michael Mutkowski.
He's the
Uh,
bomb.
I wanna get him on here, but he is constantly working, so, I'll just have to sneak in there in between contracts, I guess.
He's back in the city now. He
Okay,
is.
I'll need
He's
to grab him up.
around. I think. Last I checked,
We'll
he's
find out.
here. Lord only
We'll
knows.
find out. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were only in one show together, being The Crucible.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think so.
think
Yeah.
yeah, which is
That was
crazy.
actually one
But
of my favorites.
it was
It
so fun. Very odd parts for both of us, but boy, your Danforth was scary as all get out.
I channeled my father. He was not that scary of a guy.
Yeah, no, no.
I just wanted to get his looming presence.
Yeah, no, you're very tall. You're very, like, tall in, like, aura in that production,
Okay,
like
that is something that has come up a lot. So in our band, there's this running gag of like, you're just so big, like you're just the biggest, and it's like you're just so tall, and I'm like, but they're taller than me, but it's
you're
like
like, "But I'm shorter than you."
they're
What
like
do you
your
mean?
presence, and I was like, I'm big, like so it's always like I am big.
No, but I think that definitely tracks. I think that definitely
I
tracks.
feel like it does. I'm not mad about it.
No,
Like
not at all. And then we definitely, I think, grew the closest during taking devised theater simply because we had 0 idea what was going on.
but yours was so good.
Oh, thank
Your
you.
whole the music and the morning routine and the sounds and people speak. It was like
There's a
yours
dance.
seemed to come upon. It was the most joyful. Like it was the most pleasant for me to watch. Like I remember
Well, thank
watching it being
you.
like, this actually has like a fully fledged idea. Like he was one of the most fully formed of the class.
Well,
You
thank you,
don't
because
even
I truly was like, I have no
It
fucking
was
clue what I'm
beautiful
doing.
because you had so many people's like presences. It was poetic, and I remember yours. Like I remember Chris and I were just painting boxes. Like
Well, no, but it was very genuine, honest conversation while you just happened to be painting a box, and sometimes that's what devised theater calls for.
truly, honestly, it was. I remember when Teresa was like, "You and Chris have such wonderful ideas. Like you're great in the thought, but like not so great in the execution." And I was like, it's rough out here, but it's really true. Like we have a
Yeah,
lot of
no.
ideas. Like we just saw a puppet show like a master class puppet show, like not
Yeah.
too long ago. I like
Mm.
trekked it to Brooklyn. I was like, let's go. And it was, oh God, it was beautiful. And we were sitting there so inspired. And then we're like, Chris, are we gonna do anything about these ideas? Like, are we gonna like actively try? And he's like, I don't know, bud. I don't know. And I'm like, we'll see. It's like,
It's so hard sometimes to like put pen to paper and do it. And like I think something that I've learned about devised theater, like beyond that class, is that like constraint and like rules or like different things like that have been so helpful because then they give you a box with to work within. But when it's like go
oh,
create,
be
it's
free.
like
You're like,
it's terrifying.
be free to do what? Like,
Like what do you mean? What do you
give
want
me
me to
some
do?
instruction, please. Like, help.
Please.
I'm
I
struggling.
think, yeah, like, honestly, that's just kind of like the life of a theater person after school. We're all just like,
Dear God, I don't know what I'm doing at all. And this Oscar Wilde quote like came on today about like there are people out there who like know who they want to be like you, and those are the people like they know what they want and they're gonna do it, and that's their punishment. But like it is the people that don't know what they're going to do that redefine themselves every single morning and every single day and constantly are searching that are going to like it's a tough life, but it's like more fulfilling. I agree because like there are people that are just destined to do stuff and are really good at it. Like my sister knows she wants to be a teacher and she's a fully fledged individual with lots of other ideas and like she's in a band and she coaches softball and she's an environmentalist and she's over there doing this and she's doing that. Like
Well,
I feel like she
I
is
think that quote still applies in a sense of like, yes, she's determined on this one. She's like the exception to the rule. It's like there she's like
there's always
destined to
exceptions.
do this one thing, but then also she's leaving the rest of her life open to like, let's see what's going on over here.
Truly, no, that makes more sense. I don't know. I saw it and I was like, it made me feel better about my life, but then it also made me feel a little like, oh, but what if I do know what I want?
But
Like,
what
what
if
if I
it's
one
not
day
true?
figure it out? Will I like be punished?
No, I totally get that. Well, to go on, I guess, like the opposite end of the spectrum, then let's talk about the beginning of things. How did you first get started in theater?
Oh gosh. Okay. So when I was a kid, my cousin and I were like, I believe it or not, I was incredibly shy. When I was in a space that I was comfortable, I was like crazy, but like
Mhm.
I didn't really like I was with my family. Like it was like
Yeah,
me and my family all went to school together. It was like I didn't really feel like a need for friends because I had my
right.
cousins. I was like, I got my cousins, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Um, and my mom, I was doing gymnastics. I just like couldn't rein myself in. And so my mom's like, she loves to jump around and she loves to dance and she loves to sing and she loves to do all this stuff. We need one thing like that'll just encompass it all because I can't be running around. So she put me in a show with my cousin Kelly, and we did Alice in Wonderland. And the cast was so small that we all
Mhm.
played three different parts. So
Oh,
I was Alice's older sister Matilda. I was Daisy, and I was like one of like the
the
ivy
flowers. Yeah, yeah,
flowers,
yeah.
the mean ones, and then I was the Queen of Hearts. And I kid you
Oh
not,
my god.
all of my youth, I was just playing like I was all the mean characters. I was Maleficent. I was like
Which is
constantly evil.
so funny.
And so when I guess it all kind of came full circle when I was like, I've been prepping for years for Danforth. I've been prepping for years. My time to shine.
But it's also so funny to hear that you've played all these, like, mean characters because, like, you're just so kind in person, and I know we've had these kinds of conversations before where you're like, "No, I'm not that nice, I swear." But
I swear on my life. I feel like I don't know, like I don't think I'm a bad person by any means, but like I don't feel like anything that I do is like exceptionally nice. I'm just kind of like, yeah, no,
you're
it's
like
just like what you do. Like I don't know. I guess that's where my brain travels to.
yeah.
Yeah, no, but that was the first show I did. I was in Alice in Wonderland and I got the bug hard and I like never left. I did the same company like since I was a kid. I did Helen Hayes Youth Theater like consistently. Um, and I was going to go to college for biology. I wanted to go for bio. That was the plan.
I remember you
And
talking
then
about
I was
this.
going to do bio and education. I was like, I'll be a science teacher, like that I do.
Like,
And
total Miss Frizzle.
literally that's all I wanted was just like I'll be a science teacher. I'll be like the next like Maza because I loved my science teacher in high school. I was like, I'll
Mhm.
be that. Like that'll be me. It'll be fine. Um, And then my dad's like, you should go for theater. Like, why not? He goes, might as well just audition. Like, what's the harm? But then it became like, oh God, I'm so underprepared. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And we made it. We somehow made it. And I ended up on 3 different schools with 3 different options. And it was, I guess it was 4, it doesn't really matter, but Binghamton for science, Susquehanna was going to be for writing, and then Wagner was theater. And I was like, my mom called me and she's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, Mom. I don't know. I have no idea. And she's like, well, think about it this way. Like, where do you think you'll be happiest? And weighing all my options and everything, my sister still lived in Binghamton. And I remember being like, it's so gray there and it's so far away. Like, God forbid something happens to my dad. I want to be home. I want to be closer to home. I don't want to be 3 hours away. And then I didn't want to be in Susquehanna because that's also extra far away. Like, that's even further. And then I was like, and then I had Marymount, Manhattan on there too. And I was like, I don't want to be in the city. So then I was like, Wagner, okay. And it was that simple. I was like, and
just
then
quickly like eliminated all the other choices.
And then there I was. Because I said, you know, worst comes to worst, I'll keep, it's a liberal arts school. I can keep taking science classes. I can try and incorporate them. And I'm glad I did, because now I just finished my EMT stuff and I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to do more of like the medical stuff. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's good now because I learned something. I took anatomy. I know what's
That's awesome. I didn't know that you had been studying that. So that's really cool.
I just finished it on Saturday. I have to take the state. So let's see if I make it.
You got it. I believe in you.
That'll be it. I did my practical skills exam. I'm done. And I didn't tell that I was doing it. I didn't even tell my mom. And then I was like, she's like, Samantha, she's like, don't you lie to me. You're going to EMT stuff. And I was like, how do you know? Do you search history or something? What? And she's like, a mom knows. And I was like, okay.
Okay. That's so specific, but okay.
Like, she knew. And I was like, okay.
Like, okay, Mom. That's super awesome though. That's
it's
super
fun.
exciting.
No, I know a lot of people that have been doing it. And I'm like, I wanted to do it since I was in high school. Never had the time. And then I'm back in Rockland. I was like, I might as well do something while I'm here. Like,
you know, besides the nannying for 4 children.
Besides the nanny, they're so cute, so little.
And then you're like, okay, bye. I'm gonna go like save some lives. Ride an ambulance.
You see some crazy stuff though, because we had to do ambulance ride-alongs like while I was in school, and like I decided they're like, you can do them in your hometown, because I went to Westchester Community College, like across the bridge. Everyone's like, why are you over here? Go back to Rockland. I'm like, stop.
Like, leave me alone.
Leave me be. I'm like, this had options, okay? There's options here. But over there, they have a lot more like urban areas, so you can like, you ride a ton. Like when you're there, you are doing a lot, and you see some cool stuff. Like, and you meet some really, really nice people. Like, I love talking to people, so it's like kind of cool. Like, I met so many people that like had like I know so many people born on September 5th. It's insane. I was like, me and this girl are just like chit-chatting, and I was like, what's your birthday? Like for her paperwork. And I'm like, what's your birthday? She's like, September 5th. And I was like,
you're like, no way.
It's the only thing I'll share because HIPAA. Like,
no further than that. But no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But no, it's fun. I like it a lot. I'm surprised I like it as much as I do. Like, I thought I'd be more scared, but it's really nice. People are cool.
So then out of curiosity, so I always ask this for all of my guests, my classic little overture question. So like, what was the overture or like light bulb moment of like, oh, this is what I want to do with my life? And now granted, usually in this context, it's for theater, but maybe for you, it's for music or otherwise, or maybe you're not entirely sure. So I'm curious if you have an answer to that.
Oh, goodness. I think when I was doing, I'm trying to think of what the show was, because I remember like the year it was. Like I remember I was like going into sophomore year of high school. I believe it was in my sophomore year of high school. I think we did Legally Blonde, and I was like, I guess I just never thought that I was good enough at theater. Like growing up, I enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun, but I just never really like. It never occurred to me that like, oh, like this is something you can like do with your time in your life. And we had a new director come in, and I remember he casted me as Elle. And I remember I went up to him. I was like, I don't think that I can do it. Like, I don't think that's for me, bud. Like, I really appreciate it, but I don't think that I can. Like, I full on was like, it's not going to be me. And even up until the show, like I remember we were I was so sick the day we opened, and I was standing behind the door, like, and I was weeping, like bawling my eyes out because I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I knew from the beginning this isn't for me. Like I can't do it. And he came up to me and I chose this for you because I knew that you were on the fence. Like I knew that you didn't think that you could do it, and I thought that you needed somebody that was going to like make you do it. Like, because you just need to go out there and do your best. Like that's all I want from you is just to push yourself. Like he was one of those directors that was really big on like not casting unlikely choice, but like pushing people to like try different things, which I really appreciated. Like Mark was so cool about it. Like he gave a bunch of people opportunities that they normally wouldn't get to do, which I think is rare in a lot of direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really young for doing that part, like in terms of like the people that we had. But he just saw that I was like, you gave me a chance, and like no one had ever really like, not that no one ever given me a chance. Like I had done plenty, but like I was one of my first shows with the older cast, so like I was like a little bit like I'm stressed. So I guess that's like a light bulb moment, just to like meet somebody like that. And throughout college, I had a ton of moments where I was like, this is something that I love, and you find the different angles of theater that you like more and all that stuff. But in terms of music, that's something I've always wanted to do. Like my dad was a musician, my sister's a musician. I'm surrounded by it. Like some of my closest friends have always just been surrounded by it. So it's always something I've loved. In terms of knowing it was something that I wanted to like pursue, it wasn't until 2020. Like that was the year, because it was New Year's, and I remember that's when I made Sunshine Sessions. I finally pushed myself because I've been writing for years, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I had again where I was like, God damn it, Samantha, it's 2020. Like, come on, like just do it. Like, what's there to lose? Like, so what? It's not good. Who cares? Like, you can just put it on there for yourself. Like, it doesn't have to go anywhere. It could just be for you. If somebody, no one watches it, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, it doesn't matter. And then that was the moment I was like, it just doesn't matter. And then you just send it. And you're like, it's over.
Yeah.
Feelings are gone. Like, so I guess those are like my aha moments. I don't know. Like
No, I think those are really all poignant in their own way. Like, especially when you have that director who's like, no, you got this. Like, you're doing this. You're going to do it.
Because you can't back out. Like, it's too late now. And I'm like,
if the curtain's about to go up,
it's happening, whether you like it or not. And I guess that's kind of what I've always responded to, because my dad was like not a big like sugarcoat it kind of person. And like my mom was pretty like, not my mom's the sweetest person alive, like literally sugar spice and everything nice, like Helen Quinn.
Yes, I love Helen.
Love Helen. But they both were kind of like, no, that's just the way it is. Like that's just it. And I was like, okay. So when it speaks to me with that kind of demeanor, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I got it. And then you're like, you pull up your bootstraps and you go, like, and you're like, So I guess that was it. Like, oh, Jesus Christmas. I'm like stepping on stuff I shouldn't be stepping on.
No, you're good. You're good. And what I love about you is that you have so many tricks up your sleeves creatively. Like you can play instruments, you have an incredible singing voice, but you've also have like clowning and puppetry and various circus training all under your belt too. Did like any of these come before another? Like how did you get into all these different ones?
I've always loved clowns. Not gonna lie, for my first birthday, we had a clown here, and I have pictures and pictures and pictures of me with this clown. Like I was in love. Like I love clowns. And it's to the point where like I'm not obsessed like by any means. Like it wasn't like in my life I was like clowns like everywhere, like clown theme room. But my first puppet was a clown puppet that I made with my so my aunt was a nun, and she was a sister of charity. And the big thing is like helping people. Like that's like their whole mission is just charity. And she would make puppets for like youth, like for like libraries and like little like theaters for kids to play with and all that jazz. So she taught me how to make them. And so I made this really, really rickety, ugly clown puppet. And I loved marionettes. That was what I did for a long time, was marionettes. So clowns came first, surprisingly. puppets came second, bred out of clowns. I don't know how to explain it. Just the love of clowns. I was like, I need more.
One strange intersection, and there you go.
And by some odd twist of fate, I was in an international theater class in high school. We did like this thing called International Baccalaureate, and we had a bunch of different classes you can take, and one was IB Theater Arts. And there's an organization called ISTA TAPS, and basically you go with people from all over the world, come to multiple, there's tons of sessions, but the one in New York City was the one we went to. Over the country they come, and you just get placed in a random class. So we all got separated and placed in random classes, and mine was clowns and slow motion training. So I got trained as a clown there, but little did they know how much I loved them already. So then I was like, yes, like my time has come. But I never did the face paint. It's not that I don't like it. I didn't. Somebody told me, it's like, it's not necessary. I was like, it really isn't. It depends on what your style is, like on what you're going for. But like the main principles are like, you lead with your nose, you're naked without your hat, and really it's just like understanding. Oh, sorry, I see my cat outside. I'm like, don't get hit by a car.
No, you're good. You're
good. So distracted. Yeah. And those clown stuff. I gave my whole final presentation on clowns actually for my exam for the International Baccalaureate. It was all about clowns and the history. So now I'm like, clowns. So
you're like, I have all these facts.
I'm full of facts. So that's, I think, was one of my big missteps when I arrived to Wagner. I was like, I'm a clown. Ooh, no, not many people love clowns.
I think everyone thinks of them in the very like horror sense or like the covered in paint sense, but like there's so many other things. Like, I don't know. It has its whole like technique and philosophy that it comes from to start with that I think people don't know nearly as much about.
No, it actually is. It's you're totally correct. It's like bred actually of it was a form of punishment. Really was you were put in like this really like heavy suit, and like people would stone you. Like that was like the beginning of clowns. And then so that's why the character in most of like Commedia dell'arte and all that stuff is like you get like the clown character, but it's like kind of treated pretty poorly.
Especially in Commedia dell'arte.
No bueno. So that all happened in my clown brain. I actively think about like, I'm like, oh yeah, no, not many people are like in love with them. Also, I got fuming mad when all that stuff happened where people were dressing up as clowns and scaring people.
Yes.
So like that's actually people like that ruined a lot of people's livelihoods. Like it is a profession, and to do that to a profession is like really upsetting. Like I know people that like actively like lost business, like I've had like my friend's dad's a clown, he had to stop like because like nobody was hiring him anymore because they were like afraid, like, and I'm like, that's really upsetting.
It's a very different thing. It's like people think of clown as costume versus clown as like an entertainment technique, because I did a little bit of clowning like in grad school, and just getting to know and understand like, oh, like the clown is constantly looking for ways to like make so like if they get a reaction out of the audience, they're like, oh, how can I do more of that? That was cool. And like it's a constant relationship with the audience and the clown, but it's not meant to be a scary thing. Sometimes it can be very playful and very innocent.
That's kind of the whole essence of it, is like you're a little alien.
Doesn't know how things work.
It's like a new world. So like in your exploration, people find it funny that you don't understand like what's going on. You're like it's like a baby, but like not a baby. I don't know.
No, but I totally get that.
So like it makes sense. So that was really upsetting. I remember when that happened, I was like bummed because I'm like, it's like, don't do that to them. They don't deserve it. I'm like, I guess I'm a part of it too, but I've never worked professionally as a clown. I don't know if I ever would. It's not that I don't think that I would want to. I wanted to go to clown school. Like that was like number one. Before bio, it was like clown school. And my mom went, no. And I'm like, I get it. I hear you. I'll go do something else. She's like, you can take classes. I'm not going to pay for you to go to like clown school. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Like silent tear. Move on.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
Is there any like, obviously, we're talking about clowning a bunch, but are there any other ones that any of these, like, little crafts that particularly changed things for you as a performer? Because obviously, we were talking about puppetry a little bit earlier too.
Yeah, that was a big one when because Avenue Q was the first like main stage I was cast in, and I was honestly shocked that I was even in it. I remember
That
doing
was
the
so much
audition, and I
fun.
had so much fun, and it was like I never really. I kind of went in with the mindset at school of like I'm here to do whatever, like really whatever. Like I was just there for the learning experience of things. Like I viewed everything as like an equal opportunity to learn pretty much. So
Mhm.
anything that I did was pretty clean slate, like new thing. Like so when we did Avenue Q, I wasn't really super like heavily involved in all honesty. I was kind of like in the back and all that stuff, but I was like one of the puppet captains because I
Mhm.
loved them. So I did a lot of like maintenance and all that jazz. So when there was a puppet class being offered by Jen, I was like I want to be a part of it. Even if I'm just taking it, I want to be a part of it. So I emailed her and she's like, you can totally be my assistant. And then I learned a ton. And it's funny because I have actively continued to use it. Like I taught classes with puppets. I never taught classes like of puppets,
Mhm.
frankly, just because I don't think I'm good enough to like teach somebody, but like use them as teaching tools. And like I still have the puppet Jen gave me and I use it quite like often. I've been trying to build more, I've designed some,
Mhm.
but that really changed things for me because she was talking about how I guess like as a person, it's not that I don't feel like I'm like I'm very comfortable with who I am. Like I know who I am. I'm down with
Mhm.
it. Like I know I'm weird. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Like I get it. But for me, I've never been a fan of typecasting.
Yeah.
It just has never been something that's like been in my mind as something that's been important. So puppetry really frees the mind of that because it doesn't matter. It's a puppet. Like you can
Yeah.
be whoever you want to be. And it kind of like a limit, it takes that pressure away of like I don't like preconceived notions of people. I don't really appreciate when people like make a judgment call of me before they even know me, and I try not to do that to others because and it's impossible not to because
Yeah.
we are people.
We're
Like
human.
we are raised to judge by just a glance. Like, and that's a horrible habit that I try and take out of myself.
Yeah.
But puppetry physically forces you not to because you can't. Like, it's a puppet. You're looking at the person that is the vessel for its speech and like bringing it to life and giving it breath is just there to do that. You can be whoever you want to be and this puppet's just going to be speaking. Like it's it. So I kind
Yeah.
of loved that aspect of it. Like the fact that it takes the judgment out. I don't know. And I've been doing a lot of research because I've always wanted to open a youth theater. Ever since I was a
Mhm.
child, it's just been something I've always wanted to do. But really, I want to focus my energy on making it accessible. I feel like there's just not a lot of opportunity that's an accessible way for people to take it and be
Yeah.
part of it. And there's a lot of research about how puppetry and like puppets unlock a different form of your brain, same as when you're looking at clowns, which is why people are
Right.
afraid of them because they're humanoid faces. So people get really scared
Kind of like
because
the
they
uncanny
figure out
valley.
who this is. Like they're like, that's not a person. I can't trust it. But puppets are a little different because they're fuzzy and friendly and like all that jazz. So there's a lot of research in like kids like neurodivergent and
Mhm.
with learning disabilities and like really just like Alzheimer's are doing a lot of research with it. And I was like, I think it'd be so cool. And this is a crazy idea. It's just in the brain. Like, are we
No,
gonna
go
do? I
for
don't
it.
know if we're ever gonna do anything with this, but I think it'd be so cool to get, like a group of kids together and just have a bunch of like people there that they can design puppets in little groups and then you build them and bring them to life and then they can make their own show of like puppets as a way to like kind of like learn and unlock and explore creativity, but it needs to be accessible. I cannot stress it enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to see kids that want to do something not be able to do something. Like it's just not fair. Like it's just
No.
I feel like theater is one of those things that's so freeing and it's just so it's for everyone, so that when not everyone can do it, it boggles my mind. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
I don't want money, which is like that's something I'm severely lacking in. So then I'm like, how will I do it?
you're like,
Like
where can I
insert
find the people with the money so I can do this?
I'm like, where can I rob a bank? Like,
No, but I 100% understand everything that you're saying. Like every time that there's some type of lack of accessibility, it's so freaking frustrating because I'm like, come on, this is theater.
yeah,
Why are we continuing to gatekeep in this way? Even if it's like accessibility as participants and audience members, but also like when it comes to like casting and like all that other stuff with type and
it's just
yeah.
it just shouldn't be a thing. I remember, so after I graduated, or like we graduated,
Yeah.
um, I did Sundog. I kind of stumbled into Susan Fenley's Sundog like very haphazardly because I saw it and I
Mhm.
love A Christmas Carol. I was like, I love A Christmas Carol. Like, you
Like I got this.
understand. I'm excited. So I auditioned. And surprisingly, I'm in it. And I'm like, and it was the most whirlwind performance I think I've ever because um John Scamardella, I don't he used to work at Wagner, but
Gotcha.
he was Scrooge and that he was the only in the show. Like he played the one guy, he was Scrooge the entire time. That's it. Everyone else was like 5 different characters and like we're booking it. I'm like, there
Oh
was 2
boy.
girls. It was me and one of my really good friends now, Natalie, and we were booking it. But I remember in casting, like it was specifically done where it just didn't matter. Like um the our my friend playing Bob Cratchit, Don Tall, he's black, and it didn't matter. It's like
Mhm.
me and Chris Zika are his kids. It's like who cares? It didn't matter. Like
Yeah.
it was one of the if we ever get to work again, like I am absolutely obsessed with Shannon Agnew. Like this woman is like one of those directors that you like dream of. You're like, you're my dream. Like, please. Like I have talked so highly of this woman because I'm like, you're so cool. Because she one just like really cares about like the actor and the production and all that stuff. But like she's just the bomb diggity. And I just remember just feeling so like just the way that she speaks about casting a show, I'm like, exactly. Like, exactly. It should just be based on who is going to tell the story the most authentically. Like,
Mhm.
who is going to, like, actually, like, who's going to tell the story? That's really it. You're just telling
Yeah.
a story, and the audience is going to love it if they're telling the story well. Like, that's it. No one's looking, like, no one. I'm like, are you telling the story?
Yeah.
Are you here? Are you present? Great. Love it. It just makes no sense. I'm sorry. I get so passionate
No.
about it because I've
No,
seen,
that's okay, but it's good to see you get passionate about things because those kinds of things matter, and
you know,
also, like, the second you have any type of thing running where kids are making puppets and things like that, sign me the heck up because I wanna be there because that sounds like so much fun and so
please.
much opportunity for, like, those even with, like, sensory issues and things like
It's
that to be able to
really
participate in theater.
exactly. You can there's so many options like in it. I don't know. It's kind of like limitless in that
Yeah.
way. And I worked at youth theaters for a long time. Like I started working at White Plains Performing Arts Center and I was
Mhm.
like doing a bunch of stuff there. Um and um sorry, my one of the kids I nanny for is calling me and I'm like, hi Juliet. Like
No, you're good, you're good.
but oh God, what was I even saying? I
Talking
was
about
talking about youth
sensory
theater.
issue, yeah, youth theater sensory
Yes, it's
issues.
like when I'm talking to these kids, like we have a ton of non-binary kids,
Mhm.
and we've been talking a lot about like accessibility within the theater. Like, what can we do to make things like how can kids participate and like have an open conversation about like what is going to be the best for them? Like,
Yeah.
how do we like? I'm like, okay, so like I want you to play this character, but how do you want to play it being you? Like, what are you going to bring of yourself into it?
Mhm.
Like let's go non-binary prince, like let's go. Like I loved it. This kid James was incredible and we picked a costume together, we figured out what was going to be the best for them, and it was wonderful. And like working in that capacity and like seeing the next generation of artists like kind of like step into a role and like use their voices to express what they need It
Mhm.
was like, we can make a lot of really, really good changes. Like there can be more, and it was really eye-opening for a lot of us who like hadn't experienced that in theater. It was kind of like, yep, you wear this, and who
Yeah,
cares if it's comfortable? Safety pin
right.
on, go ahead. And I'm like, there have been plenty of times where I've worn costumes that I've been like, I really just don't feel okay in this, and
Yeah,
like it's nice to be a small part of like of it, like of like getting to help a kid feel comfortable. I don't know. And like the fact that they feel comfortable enough to even ask me and like talk about it, I was like, yeah, like we can make it happen. Like we can make it happen together. It does, I don't know. It just doesn't seem as hard as people make it out to be.
agreed, and I think I feel like this keeps coming up in several conversations that I have here on this show, but how the first step is always just, like, listening and,
It's
like,
really
what
just,
like, you ask what other people need, you listen, you figure it out together. Again, collaboration.
I feel like people often forget that part of theater because there's such a big, and I'm not trying to be unkind about like people. I see it in myself sometimes too, like
No.
the ego of it where you're like, because it's easy to, we live in a very self-centered world in terms of like it's like my iPhone, I, me, because like at the end of the day, like you're only living in within your own perspective. Like I
Right.
can't pretend to have the perspective of another. I don't have it. I am myself. I am me. But the best that I can do is listen and try my best, like to do what I can to like to try and see the other side of something. Because like I try my darndest. I don't know, but
You
I
do
miss
well.
working there. It was wonderful. I don't think that I'll be there for a while just due terms to my schedule, but I loved those kids. They were amazing and
Yeah.
they're so talented and they it's the same kind of feeling of like yay, we got to make this adult-sized costume fit you, but how? It's like this is built for a man, like a big man. It's
Yeah.
like how are we gonna put this on you, kid? But we figure it out. Like you find it. You find the
Exactly.
you find the way somehow.
And while you're busy and not able to necessarily work with kids at the moment, you're also doing some other really cool stuff. So you're currently in a band with your sister, the
I love
Mudlarks.
it. It's so
How
fun. I
how long has
honestly,
this been going and how did it get started?
so my sister started this band with her friends in college in like 2015, I want to say, probably
Mhm,
earlier, but that's my best guesstimate. I can't quite remember. They
mhm.
actually played at Wagner, at Wagaroo years and
Okay,
years
I
ago.
must have seen it and then just
It's
completely
it was
forgotten.
it was a long, long time ago, and so they went on a hiatus
Mhm,
because Julie was moving home. We were moving to the city. No, she was moving home, and then Jeffy was moving, and then James was moving to Washington D.C., and it just kind of like stopped.
yeah,
Over the pandemic, my sister and I had both been home, and we would do live streams of music. We were hanging out so much, and it felt so good because we hadn't been together for like a long time because she's been living her own life with her fiance and like all that jazz, and then like I've been living in the city. It's hard.
yeah.
Um, and slowly but surely, Eddie, the bassist, was like, we started playing together. So three of us as a group called Hot Nonsense. We were playing a gig in Binghamton where Jordan, the drummer, still lives. And he's like, yeah, I'll play. And then we played his holographic garbage for one day and one day only. And it is printed on a t-shirt. Um, and then Jeff's like, I wanna be a part of it again. So then it became kind of silly because we're like, we're nothing. Like, who are we? Because all of our music was under
Different names.
was like it had no name. And so then my sister's like, how about you just join the Mudlarks and that'll just be it? And I'm like, perfect. So I have been welcomed into the Mudlarks, and that's kind of where we're at. We do environmentally friendly funk kind of garbage music is what we kind of call it. Enviro trash. I don't know. And they're all actually coming on Friday. Everyone's coming on Friday to Rockland to discuss recording. We're going to discuss writing and just getting ourselves a little bit more situated because none of the stuff that's out now I'm not on any of it, which doesn't really
Mhm.
even matter. But like, there's some songs that were recorded kind of preliminary. Blah, 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 I don't really know how to say it, but
No,
they're
that's okay.
they're recorded pretty basically, and they need a little bit of love. So we're gonna do that.
Well, that's
But I
exciting.
love it. Oh my god, it's so fun. It's
How would
so
you how
fun.
would you describe the sound, like the
Um,
genre, I guess?
the
The
genre is
style.
we do a lot of, like, heavier music, which is hard in some ways for I love heavy metal. I've always, like,
Mhm.
enjoyed harder music,
Yeah.
but the stuff that I write predominantly doesn't really fit that category. So, so what the clip that you showed is something I wrote. So we're kind of like we're trying to bridge this gap of, like, as we go on in our set, it progressively gets heavier. We do a lot of most of the stuff we write is like about the world around us, about issues today. We talk a lot about environmental issues specifically. Like, my sister and Eddie wrote a song called Later Pollinator. They wrote a
I
song called
actually
Styrofoam
have
Stew.
a clip of that you sent.
Oh yes,
So,
we did. We did
so,
record that. I forgot. That was for NPR.
so I will, play a short clip of it so people can enjoy it.
Oh my god, Later Pollinator.
I'm a honeybee out on the prowl for some of that good pollen, but I can't seem to make my way through the pesticidal spray. The trees and plants that they supply, the fruit they bear is not quite right. Soft and spotted off the vine, think it needs more pesticide.
It's so much fun. It's such a
So it
fun
gets
song.
heavy. It's like a
Yeah.
little bit heavier. But it's fun. Like, so we're gonna discuss a lot more about writing because we want to write some more stuff. I keep thinking I have my glasses on, so I'm gonna get the phantom dot, but I don't.
That's okay.
Um,
A quick I have some Instagram questions, but I'm gonna ask you this one first.
okay.
I'm curious, has doing theater affected how you write music or lyrics?
I guess it has because I write a lot like story based. I
Mm,
guess one of my favorite artists is Andy Schaaf. I can't express enough. Like, I saw him live and I was like, oh, the storytelling. Like, each album is like a story. And
mm.
I'm like, I can Joni Mitchell and Andy Schaaf are like two that I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you write like that. So I guess it does make sense to me because I'm constantly thinking a lot about like feelings and storytelling, but a lot of what I write about is just kind of like it's kind of an outlet for me to get my own feelings out, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, and then I'm like, sometimes I'm a little bit too much. Like, I totally name dropped in a song. My friend Ella's like, keep it, keep it. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, I'm not gonna name drop somebody. I can't do it. Like, I'm not like that. I won't name drop. It's like, so I had to change it. But she's like, it doesn't sound as good. I'm like, you're right, it doesn't.
Right, but, like, I can't just use their name.
I can't put it in there. It's like, I can't. I
Yeah,
can't.
no, I can definitely see that being, like, very narrative based for you, so that makes sense. So a quick, Instagram question for Liam from Liam. I have 2 of them, but the first one's from Liam, and he asks, "What is your process for writing a song?"
Oh my, it changes every time. Sometimes I'm not like my dad. My dad would be able to like have a melody in his head and the words like they come together.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I usually write like really short snippets of lines that like throughout the day, or I'll have like a melody that I like sing and I'll be like, yeah, I like that. And then slowly but surely it'll come together. I've only had one song and one song only be done in like 30 minutes. Like, I sat down and I was like, yep, this is done. I'm like, it's done and it just made sense and it's over. Like,
Wow.
it doesn't happen frequently and I don't think it'll ever happen again. And honestly, it's such a ditty. My mom actively is like, ditty. And I go, it is a ditty. It's short. It's like, what do you want from me? I'm not gonna like extend it. It's like it served its purpose. It's done. It's reached
Yes.
its end. So I guess it's like writing like on my I have notes after notes after notes that are just like they have the dumbest titles on them to get me to remember what they are. And then I'm like they get lost in each other because I just keep like writing them in one big note. So I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna find it again. I do voice memos a lot of like
Mm.
tiny little clips, but I don't usually end up going back to them frequently. Sometimes I'll sit down with a purpose in mind of like writing something specific, but that's kind of rare. It'll be like I wrote a line, this is so cheesy, but I wrote a line like a long time ago. And I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of my friend Kevin before we started dating. And I was like,
Mhm.
this kind of reminds me of my friend Kevin. And now we're dating. And I'm like, feel like I gotta write it about him now. Like now it's like I thought of him when I wrote this line, but like it's not like sitting down and writing it. And he's like, "You're writing a song for me?" And I'm like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, shut up.
Panties in a twist. It's like, calm down, fine. He's a
my
mush.
God.
I'm the biggest mush I know. God, gosh, doob it.
No, I totally understand, but I love hearing that because the idea of writing music is so foreign to me. So I'm always like, how do you do it? How does that magic happen? So it's always
Oh my
fun to hear the
God.
different things from different people. And then a friend of the podcast, Chris XC34, wanted to know what is Peaches and Cream about?
Oh my God, that's the song I wrote in 30 minutes,
Oh,
actually.
amazing.
So it kind of started, this is like such a weird thought process. So
That's okay.
it's sort of about, okay, my mom always described my grandma's skin, kind of creepy, as peaches and cream. And it kind of reminded me of like how just like their advice throughout life is like, it's not always going to be like smooth, like life's not always smooth sailing. And it was shortly after Brett and I broke up, and I was kind of like writing about this idea of just wanting to just like I wanted smooth sailing, but like it's just not gonna happen. Like life's not always gonna be this way. And then I wrote a little bit about like a little segment of like I'm gonna go away and I'm just gonna be okay. And it's like I'll like let my brain just drift into space and I'll be fine. And like then hopefully I'll find smooth sailing. Probably won't, but that's okay. Like even today, like the universe just seems to be a little bit against me. I'm like, where's my good karma? Wrong. I don't know what I've done wrong. Probably lots of stuff though.
No, you're fine.
But
But
yeah,
no,
general idea. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. That's fun. It's always nice to have like a fun little like running metaphor going on in a song.
But like generally the phrase peaches and cream comes from my grandma's skin. So I hope that haunts somebody. Kidding,
You're like,
totally
I hope that haunts somebody.
No, they had both of them like beautiful skin. I'm like wrinkling up at the age of 24, and my grandmas were like flawless. I'm like,
shut up.
I'm like, get the heck out of here. Anne and Noreen out here.
Oh my
Like,
God. They found the fountain of youth, and you're just like, come on.
They're hiding it. And my grandma's like Pond's cold cream, and my other grandma's like Vaseline. I'm like, I'm not gonna smother my face in Vaseline, but thank you, Grandma.
You're like, it can't be both. So I don't know what you figured out.
I was like, I did try both, and my pores were horrifyingly clogged to do it. Pick one. Go with it.
Oh my God.
They did not
do you and the Mudlarks have any upcoming shows?
We do. We are playing in Syracuse on November 5th. That's like really far. It's in November.
No, but that's okay.
We're trying to book a show in Philadelphia. We kind of like, we have the venue. We can go kind of whenever we're like figuring out, but we want to tour with, not tour, but we want to do a show with this band that we love from Binghamton called The Grown Ups, whose album is also coming out, and they're awesome. Because we played a show with them in Bing like not too long ago, and we're like, come on, we're gonna play one in Philly, like let's go. But it's about finding time because they're all a bunch of them are school teachers, and we're like, we'll find time.
That's hard to do between.
Yeah, no, and everyone lives so far. Like Jordan's in Bing, Eddie's in Long Island, Julie and I are in Rockland, but she's moving to New Paltz. And Jeff's in Philly, and James is finishing his degree, his PhD in neuroscience in DC. So he's a rare treat, but he's amazing.
Trying to get everyone together in the same place at the same time is exhausting.
It'll never, it's rare. So our next show, definitely, we're playing a graduation party on July 1st. So that's like our next one. We're taking the time though before then to like really focus on recording stuff because we have like nothing to show for it. We're like, we really need to like
have something,
put something out for people
in
to
posterity.
Listen to. Because it's like, it's not happening. Like we have nothing. It is
okay.
Like you can listen to the music that's like already out on Bandcamp, but it's a lot of things have changed since then in terms of sound. And we're like, we should probably re-record and like kind of tailor it up a little bit and get it on like something that's a little bit more accessible for people. Not that Bandcamp's not accessible, but like I don't think a lot of people are reaching for Bandcamp.
Right. Like a lot of people will just default to like Spotify or like Apple Music or something. Much like how I'm trying to slowly start editing these podcasts so that they can actually go somewhere other than YouTube as well. But you know,
It's
it takes
hard.
time.
Yo, you're doing so nice though. I find this show to be so refreshing in terms of like, because a lot of, again, you've always been the kind of person that's been very uplifting of others' art, and like you really, I would define you as somebody that I would call like a true artist in the sense of like it's in your heart, like because you actively want to uplift people in the work around you, like, and that to me is one of the most important things that I think people forget about in theater, that it's like it's a community project, bud.
Yeah.
Like we're all in it together. You should want to uplift the people around you, and in terms uplift yourself too, because everyone's because it's like this like renewed. I honestly I haven't written anything in a minute because hence the reason, like I posted something on Sunshine Sessions specifically for today because I was like, I don't have a link for you. I was like, oh God, I'm like, I got to do this. So I
No
posted that,
worries.
and I was like, I haven't like done anything in a while. I'm actively writing a story album with my friend Ella because we have a little duo called Mary's Dress that we don't really do very often, but we do sometimes, and we write a lot together. And we have not sat down in a long time. We sat down for the first time at the beginning of this week, and we're like renewed energy, like let's
I
go.
love that.
We got to
That's
carry
so
it up.
exciting. That's so exciting.
We'll see.
Well, I'm excited to hear it if and when that comes out. So all that good stuff, all the things.
All the things.
But it's crazy because we've pretty much come to the end.
Whoa.
So, first off, where can people find you on the internets and things like
God.
that? Be it like the band and otherwise.
Oh goodness. Yeah, the band is at the Mudlarks. You'll see something about trash on there, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's them."
That's them.
Binghamton based. So you'll see something about garbage, you'll know it's us. Mine's Sunshine Sessions, but I don't really post a ton on there, but I will. I'll use this as my reminder that I need to do something. And you can, am I want to be pals on Facebook? Sure, like I'll be your pals. I don't know. Like,
I'm trying to think. I think your regular Instagram is like oddball
_Q.
Yeah.
My name is not attached to it because I just think it's so funny when bots try and contact me and they're like, Bootsy, we've been trying to contact you. And I'm like,
and you're like, look,
Bootsy. Like, I'm not easy to find. I'm not easy to tag. I don't mean to be. I just I don't have anything to say.
Well, I will put all the links below so that if people do want to find you on social media and all that stuff, they can.
They'll find me.
Where can people find Mudlarks on Bandcamp if they were interested?
So I think it's at the Binghamton Mudlarks, but if you look up the Mudlarks, you should see Bandcamp. You should see Binghamton, and the album's called Knee Deep. So, and it is a watercolor painting that I made for my sister for Christmas.
I love that.
Of a hand holding a coin like seaweed. It's not good. I did my best, and she loves me enough to use it as her album art. I'm like, it was just something.
You're like, you don't have to.
Really. I was like, you really don't have to. Like, it's not great. And at the time, they were called Mrs. Mudlark. Like, that's what they were going by. But they changed it to the Mudlarks after I gave the gift. So then you see it like scratched like over the miss. So
oh my God.
So look for my mistakes. I'm full of them.
Oh my God, Sammy, you crack me up. Okay, so I guess I should share mine as well. So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lora_Marjoram, my website, www.loramarjoram.com. You can find this show on Instagram at Overtures Show. There's 2 S's. And then if you're watching this episode, congrats, you found the YouTube channel. Hooray. Subscribe, comment, like, join us live, say hi. We don't bite. I bring up comments live on screen and we'll say hi to you and things like that. So it's a grand old time.
I love it.
I like having an interactive portion of it, even if people can or can't attend, you know?
No, it's nice. You need the people aspect.
It's true. It's true. And then I do not have anyone scheduled for next week yet. I've had 2 weddings and 2 weekends, and I've been kind of going insane in terms of scheduling. So I will get that scheduled soon, but some exciting guests in the pipeline. So I'll leave people with that. But Sammy, do you have any final thoughts for viewers live and in the future?
no, this was just really, really nice. It kind of it was really refreshing. I hadn't actually like talked to anybody about theater stuff in a minute because ever since COVID, I just haven't done really anything.
I understand.
I'm like, touche. Like it's just the world that we live in now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't love it still, but I don't know. This made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yay, I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
I'm like,
With that, I'll go ahead and end stream. And then, yeah, I hope everyone has a great